Hey, it's Paul Solt from Super Easy Apps. Welcome back. We are going to work on customizing the button that is not really a button in our user interface. So I dragged out the graphic itself, but that's not an interactive button. So we're going to have to delete it and put a real button there. So what we're going to do is just select that, hit delete. Buttons in iOS, since iOS 7, are a lot different than they used to be. We don't have the background image, but we can still customize them and set them up like we used to be able to. It's just by default, they require a little bit of work. So let's go ahead and fix this. I've got the button on the screen. We are going to just focus on getting the content. So if we double click, we can edit the content. It's all caps, so I'll type calculate tip. There's not really spell checking, so just make sure that you match the spelling over here with this. Once you do that, next thing we can do is focus on the background image. So we can do our select to pull out one of our graphics. We've got the yellow button graphic, and we'll see that it's not quite the same. So we're going to have to adjust the size. And so we need to know how big to make it. It's not going to give us a nice snapping like it did with the image when we just plop them on the screen. Instead, we're going to have to reference our mockup. And we want this to be 334 pixels or points big, and then we want it to be 67 pixels tall or points tall. So let's switch to our measurement tool. This is our size inspector. And in here, our width, we're going to do 334 for the iPhone 8. And then we're going to do 67 for the height. And that will give us the correct size that we need. So now we can position this so that it is centered. And we'll just adjust this until we see those lines go to that thin line, which means it's centered. And then it's looking pretty good. The offset looks like it's a little bit off, and we can fix that later. Let's do one more customization of the font color. So we'll click on this little icon to select the color picker, and we're just going to do a white color. So we could just type in FFFF. And that should give us what we want. We can double check any of our font attributes looking here. So 6Fs will give us the white color, or you can manually just change this to white color. Both options will work. Next, we need to set the font size. So if we look at the font size for this button, it should be around a 22. So let's customize that. And we want it to be medium. And let's do that one more time. When you switch medium style, it loses our size position. So that's looking pretty good. So now we have a button. Let's play around with it in our simulator. And there's one other thing I want to do to customize it to make it behave, but I have to show you how it's going to behave right now. So if we click this, there's a little weird flash. I'm not sure if you can see that, but there's an additional setting on the button. I want it to behave like a default button in iOS. I don't want this highlighted adjusts images options selected. So if we run this again, we should see that it's going to have this nice fade out animation, which we can get for free with our button by just changing that one attribute. All right, so that is setting up a custom button. You now have learned how to design this user interface. The last thing that we need to do in the next video is I'm just going to refresh how to adjust the elements so that they sort of line up where you want them to line up. So let's take a look at that in the next video. Hey, this is Paul. Real quick before you go, I've got all the source code over here on the right. If you want to download the source code, go to the link that's over on the right or down below. You can grab that code. If you like that, click the like button. Also, before you go, once you go to this site, you'll see a little form. If you fill that out, type your email address in here and click the download now button. That's going to send you an email with all the source code. So just check your email in order to get started. All right, so this has got a lot of design resources from Sketch to PNGs to Xcode projects. It's going to be very useful. Lastly, click the subscribe button, which is over my head, if you want to get updates when I have new videos. I'm going to be posting regular content on a weekly basis. And then last but not least, just like this video if you found any of the topics that I talked about helpful. I'm going to be showing you the next step in the next video. So let's go do that.